Good afternoon, students. So today I'm going to go over how and why you should pay attention to media literacy, digital literacy, and AI literacy. So in my school, one of my students said that she wished that the school gave classes on media literacy so that she would know how to find credible sources for her paper. And so, one way in order to learn how to find credible sources for your paper is to develop a sense of media literacy, information literacy, digital literacy, and AI literacy. And by learning those literacies, then you can find credible sources for your paper. And so in this presentation, I'm going to go over what these literacies are and the importance of these literacies. And so in my book, Mastering Media Literacy, all right, I just got the author copy. So here is what my book looks like. So in this book, Mastering Media, Digital, and AI Literacy in 8 weeks, I go over the 3 different kinds of literacies. So the first literacy you have to learn is digital literacy. In digital literacy, basically you learn how to use the computer. You learn how to move the mouse. You learn how to use different apps. You learn how to use Microsoft Office 365. You also learn basic communication apps such as Zoom or Slack, which helps you communicate and do projects at work. And most importantly, you learn cybersecurity. You learn how to avoid phishing, people phishing, and data privacy breaches, and you learn how to keep yourself safe on the internet. So the most basic literacy is basically how to use the internet safely, how to navigate your email safely so that hackers don't get your information. And you learn how to use all the different apps that's available in this digital age. Then media and information literacy has to do with what my students want to learn about credible sources. So in order to develop information and media literacy, you learn how to evaluate sources that are credible and evaluate sources that are not credible. And so when you have credible sources, and as I taught my students, you use Kapow. And this I mentioned in my previous video. If you watch my video, I think it was fun ways to use AI. And my other videos, I talk about Kapow. C in Kapow stands for currency, A stands for author, P stands for purpose of writing, O stands for objectivity, and W stands for writing style. And so I go over Kapow in my book of how you could use the Kapow structure in order to find credible sources. Also, you want to find credible sources, peer-reviewed sources in your online library. And so let's start without further ado. I will start, and so you can buy my book on Amazon, okay? And you can learn all 3 of these literacies in 8 weeks. And if you're an educator, you can use my book as your textbook for your class. So let's get to it so that you can understand what is media literacy, what is AI literacy, and what is digital literacy. So let me share my screen. And this is the screen I want to share. And so here you have there. And I will start the show and get the show on the road, as they say. Whoa, isn't that a cool effect? Well, it's kind of slow. Whoa, okay, so mastering media, digital, and AI literacy. And so here, digital, social, and AI literacy. Let's see if I can move this out of the way. There you go. So understanding the key literacies in the digital age is essential in this hyper-connected world we live in. Learn how to be a well-rounded digital citizen with my book. I should have chosen a different transition. It's a bit slow. In today's world, digital media and AI literacy are crucial for navigating technology, information, and artificial intelligence responsibly. In this book, you will learn both the pros and cons of digital media and AI literacy. Read this book to stay safe in the digital world. What is the importance of studying these literacies? The importance of studying media, digital, and AI literacy lies in equipping individuals with essential skills to navigate the complex and often misleading information landscape of the modern world. Critical engagement, empowerment, protection against misinformation, ethical use of technology, adaptation to change. These are the many reasons why you should study these literacies. It's all in my book, too. And so here, information literacy is defined as a multifaceted concept that encompasses various skills and competencies. At its core, it involves the ability to recognize when information is needed and to locate, evaluate, and use it effectively. Information literacy underscores the importance of being able to access relevant data from a wide range of sources, critically assess the credibility and accuracy of information, and apply that credibility and accuracy of information to solve problems and make informed decisions. Information literacy serves as a foundation for engaging with media, digital, and AI literacies, and is vital for navigating the complexities of today's information environment. What is digital literacy? So digital literacy is the most basic of the literacies. It's the ability to use digital devices and platforms effectively. It includes online safety, digital communication, and information evaluation. Examples of digital literacy: navigating websites, using apps, cybersecurity awareness, knowing how to use your computer, exploring Zoom, Slack, and other ways for workplace communication. Digital literacy is defined as extending beyond simply using digital devices. It encompasses a deeper understanding of how to engage with digital content critically and responsibly. It includes technical skills as well as cognitive and social emotional competencies that enable individuals to navigate the digital world effectively. Digital literacy involves understanding how algorithms influence information visibility online, recognizing data privacy issues, and being aware of the ethical implications of digital interactions. Additionally, it entails managing one's digital footprint, participating responsibly in digital communities, and promoting positive digital citizenship. In other words, digital literacy involves knowing how to stay safe online. My book on mastering media, digital, and AI literacy defines media literacy as the ability to access, analyze, evaluate, and create media in various forms. It involves understanding the role of media in society, recognizing biases and propaganda techniques, and critically engaging with media content to discern its purposes and messages. Media literacy empowers individuals to navigate the complex media landscape by fostering critical thinking skills and promoting informed decision-making in response to media messages. In other words, don't believe everything that you read. Don't believe everything that's on social media. Know when you can believe something and when not to believe something. That is media literacy. So media literacy is the ability to access and analyze media messages. the ability to find credible sources for your research paper, identifying misinformation and biases. Examples: fact-checking news, understanding advertising tactics, and not believing everything you read to improve your critical thinking skills. So always be skeptical of what you read. Always fact check everything you read. And never trust advertisements, because advertisements, they like to exaggerate their facts to get you to buy their product. And that's all part of media literacy. It's like you're not some kind of doormat in that anything that's printed, you would suddenly just automatically believe just because it's printed. So take a skeptical view of question everything. That's media literacy. What is AI literacy? AI literacy is understanding how AI works and its impact on society, recognizing AI-generated content and ethical concerns. Example: chatbots, recommendation algorithms, AI biases. AI, which stands for artificial intelligence, is a machine that thinks like a human as it seeks out patterns in speech to answer your output. And so another danger of AI is to learn how to spot and avoid deep fake videos. And so on top of digital literacy, in which you learn how to navigate the online world safely, and then on top of media literacy, where you learn how to find credible sources and you learn how to avoid non-credible sources. Non-credible sources would be something like the National, all those magazines that you see at the grocery store where they gossip about all the celebrities. That's what I would call non-credible sources. And so you want to believe in scholarly sources. And so those are the sources that you find in your library database. And then in walks, on top of media literacy, in which you find credible sources, and then digital literacy, where you learn how to use a computer. Then you have AI literacy, where when you read AI and you see the output from AI, you got to realize that not everything that AI outputs is true, that sometimes AI hallucinates its sources. And so that's why I tell students that if they are going to use AI, they have to still find their own sources. And I know I repeat the same thing in my previous fun ways to use AI. You're probably thinking, especially those of you who watched all my videos, and you're thinking, why does she keep repeating the same thing over and over again? She's like some parrot, you know? And that's because part of teaching is that some people didn't watch the previous video, so they need it to be said for this video. And it's worth repeating that you cannot trust everything that AI outputs. That AI, if AI cannot find enough information on the internet, it will then make it up. And I remember, this I didn't put in my other video. I remember I was doing an anthology for, I think it was Chinese science fiction. And I think the name of the book might have been Anthology of Chinese Science Fiction or something like that. Anyway, so as a shortcut, I asked AI to provide me a summary of all the books in the Chinese anthology book. And then I had the book with me on my bookshelf, but I was just too busy. I didn't have the time to go and look it up and then write it down for myself. But I knew what it was, but I couldn't remember each and every book. So I figured that, well, I'll let AI do it for me. That would be a shortcut. A lot of people use AI just for that reason. They're just too busy. They use it for a shortcut, and then they don't fact check what comes out. So I did that, and I asked AI, what are the books and stories in the Chinese anthology of science fiction book? And then as soon as I read the AI output, I'm like, wait a minute, that's not right. Those aren't the stories in, that's a story in the other anthology. In other words, it mixed up the anthologies of other Chinese anthology books, and then it made up a few stories to boot. And I go, those stories don't, because I had already done some kind of video, and I'd already read the whole anthology, so I already knew what was in it. I just couldn't name it off the top of my head. That's why I had to look it up and use AI. And I was like, those stories don't exist. So it turned out that the AI hallucinated and made up those stories. And this was when AI first came out. I couldn't understand why it was all wrong. And so I started talking with other people for whom this happened to, and I started reading all of the AI, articles. And that's when I first learned the word hallucination. In other words, when AI hallucinates, that means that whenever the AI cannot find enough information on the internet about whatever it is that you asked it, it will then make it up. And so some people tell me, well, if you want to make AI hallucinate less, you have to ask the AI, what do you know about this information? Were you able to find a lot of information about this internet? And then you have to tell AI to tell you, if you can't find the information, tell me so. Don't just make it up, you know. And there's a lot of researchers trying to figure out why AI tries to make it up when it can't find it, you see. And there's a lot of speculation about that part. But that's part of AI literacy, is to realize that not everything that AI spits out is real. I mean, I found that out. Luckily for me, I had read the AI Chinese anthology, so I knew the information on that output was not real. But other people will not know that. Other people who have not read the AI, that anthology book, will not know that the AI just made it up. And then just like Wikipedia, where people just upload whatever, that's another example of a non-credible source, it's Wikipedia. And so in this way, AI literacy means that you have to know that everything that AI output is not always, what it seems. And the thing about AI is it knows how to BS, I think is the best word for it. It could say in such an authoritative, straight-faced manner, and this is what the Chinese anthology book says, and you could almost see a, poker face and all that kind of stuff. And then you would, it looks so serious. It does it with such confidence. And that's where AI literacy comes into realizing you have to fact check and make sure that, in other words, you have to actually go to the bookshelf, and then go to the table of contents, and then, oh no, it doesn't match. But that's why AI is, you have to fact check it. And when you write your papers, you have to be able to look at peer-reviewed sources and figure it out for yourself. AI is great for brainstorming ideas, but it still has to work on how to be more accurate and how to be more, and so even though it looks accurate, and even Perplexity, so things like Perplexity, I think that some people have said Perplexity is better than ChatGPT, but in general, all of the AI seems to have the same weaknesses. It's just that some AI is a lot less weak than other AI, that sort of thing. And so if an AI can prove the origin of the source by taking you back to a link that links to the source, then you can trust that source. So let's say I find a source, an AI source, and then it links to a source that's exactly what it is, then you can trust that source. But a lot of times whenever I fact check the sources from AI, even when I click on the link, it doesn't go back. It's not the same thing. The link does not tell in other words, it doesn't match. And a lot of times, then I would go, oh, okay, if I hadn't checked that source, then I wouldn't know that that source was right. So just because AI gives you a link does not mean that the source is real. You still have to click on that link to see what that link says. I remember one time it sent me to a 404 error. And I'm like, so you still have to click on that link to make sure that the link says what the source says. And if it doesn't match, then you have to delete that source and then chalk it up to AI hallucinated again, you see. But that's difficult to do. What if AI spits out 100 sources? The latest AI, I think it's called Deep Research, can spit out a paper with 100 sources. And this I read in an article. that, and this is some, I wish I could remember the article name. Okay, this is an example of I have to, just like I tell my students, what's your source, right? And here I am making the same mistake. So basically, you have to check your sources, basically. You can't trust it. It looks right. The AI can format it correctly, and then it looks correct. And the danger of using too many AI sources is you would have to check every single link just to double check to make sure that link is real. And you're thinking, why is it so important to have credible sources? Why do I need credible sources? Well, that's because when other researchers use your paper to research your paper, and then they click on they go to your sources, your bibliography, and they want to find out more about your information, they click on your link and it goes someplace else, then your reputation as a researcher goes down the tubes, because then everybody realizes, oh, she didn't or he didn't fact check, or he just allowed a ChatGPT to hallucinate for them and didn't fact check it. And this becomes very important in fields like the legal field, criminal justice, medical field, places where life and death counts. It's not just something about it's not just some student writing a paper about, is climate change a hoax or something like that. So that's why, and I remember reading about how somebody got fined, some lawyer got fined $5,000 for using ChatGPT, and it came up with fake legal cases. So that's why you have to be careful with, and the reason why I stopped at AI literacy, notice how I talked so much about AI literacy and went over the digital and media literacy so quickly, is because AI literacy, it's only 2 years old. And so most people find the need for AI literacy more than digital and media literacy, which is more old. In other words, I've been teaching media literacy, I'd say about the last 15 years or so, but I've only been teaching AI literacy for the last 2 years, 3 years, something like that, because AI became prominent, as everybody knows, in November of 2022. And so it's AI literacy that people are the most vulnerable for. And so that's why I spent the most time here stuck on this particular slide on what is AI literacy. And then number two, besides knowing about fake sources, number two is how to deep fake videos. Oh my God. I mean, I've seen a couple of deep fake videos. In one deep fake video, it was on LinkedIn, and someone on purpose made a deep fake video of President Trump and President Biden enjoying time together, being buddies together, and stuff like that, when everybody knows that those two people don't go out together, they don't hang out together. But in the deep fake video, somebody had the two of them, that is Biden and Trump, going out fishing together, hanging out together, golfing together, laughing together, so on and so forth. You get the idea. And basically on LinkedIn, everybody knew it was a deep fake because the creator said, and this is an example of a deep fake video. Doesn't it look so real? And if you didn't know any better, you would think that this was an actual video of Biden and Trump being buddies together. And therefore, the point of that whole thing was to point out to people how realistic deep fake videos are. That if you didn't know any better, you would think it's real, that those two people actually do hang out together, like have the same ideas, and hold the same values. It's that sort of thing. So the deep fake videos even made one politician, I forgot his name or her name, look drunk or say words that they didn't say. And then it would be easy for people to put words into your mouth that you didn't say, that sort of thing. And so you have to be aware of deep fake videos, and you need to reverse engineer where that video came from to make sure that it's real. And so that's a whole nother field of study of trying to fact check deep fake videos. So that's another thing. And another one is identity theft. People can steal your voice and your face, and then make you say or do things you didn't do or say, that sort of thing. And so all of that is wrapped up in AI literacy. And in all of three literacies, before I go back to, you got to be it's like buyer beware. Don't believe everything that you see and hear. Easier said than done. I can tell you that it's easier said than done. And AI literacy is defined as the understanding of how artificial intelligence systems function, including the ability to interact with these systems effectively. Oh yeah, that also has to do with prompt engineering. Prompt engineering is knowing what kind of prompts are the most effective to get a good output from your AI. So that's a different book I wrote about. But basically, you have to provide context. You have to provide background, then you provide the action, and then you provide what format you want it in. So you don't just simply put in your output and put in your input, your prompt, and just expect to have your exact output. A lot of times you have to modify your prompt until you get the output that you want, and that's what's known as prompt engineering. So that is also part of AI literacy, is knowing how to properly prompt your prompts, write your prompts to get the output that you desire. So that's the ability to interact with these systems. And so AI literacy builds upon information literacy by enabling individuals to comprehend how AI generates and utilizes data to inform decisions. This includes recognizing the biases that can be perpetrated by AI algorithms and the implications of their use in various contexts. AI literacy is crucial for fostering critical thinking about technology and for empowering individuals to engage with AI systems responsibly and effectively in an increasingly automated world. So AI is filled with biases. And so I read an article where this guy would put in the prompt. This was in the early stages of the text to picture, text to picture generator. And so he put in, draw me a picture of an American business person or something like that. And then it drew a picture of a businessman. And so usually the biases is that it will draw a man for any kind of business, thing, and not so much women. So if you say a business person, you try to be, objective. And so they have to tinker around with how to, include different ethnicities and try to be more, I think Google got in trouble for it. No, Google got in trouble for being too inclusive. But anyway, so it's got a lot of biases, and I did write about that in my first book, in my AI, Writing in the Age of AI, ChatGPT, generated by ChatGPT. And I put a whole chapter on how AI has a lot of biases. So you have to be aware, and I talk about the biases in my book. And so you have to be aware of AI biases. And so how do these literacies connect? So digital literacy enables effective use of media and AI. Media literacy helps in analyzing AI-generated content. AI literacy ensures ethical understanding of digital tools. So here is a media literacy example. A student encounters a viral video on social media claiming a new health miracle product. By applying media literacy skills, the student investigates the video's source, looks for potential biases or misleading information, and evaluates the credibility of the claims by searching for scientific evidence and expert opinions. So that is a media literacy example. A digital literacy example is a group of students is assigned to collaborate on a project using a cloud-based platform. They must demonstrate digital literacy by effectively sharing documents, setting up a collaborative space, utilizing productivity tools, and maintaining a digital etiquette while communicating with each other and the instructor. And so digital literacy is simply how to use a computer and how to use a computer properly, as well as apps that go with it, like cloud, like how to use a cloud platform, how to use Zoom, how to use Slack. AI literacy. So here's an example of AI literacy. A student is researching a topic and comes across an AI-generated article providing insights and statistics. To exercise AI literacy, the student evaluates the reliability and accuracy of the information presented, considers how AI-generated content could introduce biases, and distinguishes between human and machine-generated perspectives. These scenarios illustrate practical applications of these literacies, helping students navigate the complexities of modern media and technology responsibly. Challenges and risks. So like with anything on social media or anything on that's digital, you have privacy and data security concerns. And so I tell students that when they upload their essays into ChatGPT, do not include your name or your school. And when you want to improve your resume, do not include your address, your phone number, your email, your or anything that's identifiable to you, because hackers can then use that information against you to find information so that they can get into your bank account, and that sort of thing. So always be aware of yourself online. And so when I put in my resume, I have to take out part of it, the personal information. So you take out the personal identifiable information so that you could keep some of your privacy. So when I share with AI for essay revision, I don't put in my student's name, I don't put in the student's school, and I just put in the the essay, and then you don't know who that refers to, and it doesn't have any, I would put in Jane Doe or something like that. And then also, so that's part of AI privacy. That's part of that's part of AI literacy. And then you have to be aware of fake news and AI-generated misinformation. And then you have to be aware of digital divide and accessibility issues. And for media literacy, being able to tell fact from fiction. So you don't believe everything that you read. And then you have to fact check to avoid, misinformation and disinformation. And of course, Kapow. And so I mentioned that previously. So if you want to find credible sources, C in Kapow stands for currency. You make sure that the article is within, 10 years old and not later than that. A, author. Make sure that it's written by an expert like a scientist or a lawyer or a doctor, not a politician, not an athlete, and not an actor. P stands for purpose, and you want to make sure that the purpose of the article is not an advertisement, because advertisements use hyperboles and exaggerate the truth in order to get you to buy their product. O stands for objective. So many of the news outlets are either too far to the left or too far to the right. And so you want to, in order to believe the news outlet or whatever it is you're reading, it needs to be neutral and objective and talk about both sides of the issue. And so if you go to allsides.com, that's a news outlet that you can trust, because allsides.com talks about that topic from the left, the right, and both sides of the topic. Also, another place where you can trust the news source is procon.org, because it tells both the pros and the cons of the topic. So so when you write your paper, you have to be aware of credible sources. And the most credible source that you can use are the peer-reviewed sources from your online library. And don't use Wikipedia, because anybody can just upload anything. W stands for writing style. So you want to make sure that the article has a professional style, no grammar errors, and that it has a logical essay structure. In other words, it has a thesis statement with body paragraphs that describe the thesis statement. So, and that's how you find credible sources. So best practices for improving literacy is you have to fact check and verify your sources to make sure that the source exists. Understand data privacy settings, learning how AI influences content and decision making. And if you take a source from AI, I learned the hard way. I originally, I would just ask Perplexity and ask if the source exists. That's another way of doing it. And then another way is going to Snopes to fact check, as SNOPES. It's a fact checker. So there are a lot of websites that will do fact checking. And then you can also corroborate whatever it is that you see, especially if you're on social media. And social media is a place of a lot of gossip. Somebody could make up a story. Oh, I think there's a story of a journalist. Just for an experiment, he deliberately, made up some stories and then posted it online, social media. And then he was amazed that it got reposted like hundreds of times, and people didn't even bother to fact check it. And you even had comments like, I can't believe such and such and such and such. And later on, the journalist then admitted he did it on purpose, putting in a false story onto social media as an experiment to see just how often people fact check or don't fact check before sharing the article with friends. And in his experiment, he realized practically nobody bothers to fact check because just about everybody just, wow, that was interesting, and then shares it with friends without thinking. So you can't believe everything that you see in social media. So don't get your news from social media because a lot of people, just like with Wikipedia, people can upload whatever they want off the top of their heads. That's the whole purpose of reliable sources, to corroborate what you see. So corroborating what you read is part of media literacy. And understanding data privacy settings. In other words, you can set your social media to just friends only and not to the general public. Learning how AI influences content and decision making, such as deep fake videos of Biden and Trump fishing together. And that never happened. Those two, they would go fishing, but not with, like Trump could go fishing with his friends, but it's not going to be with Biden. And same thing, Biden could go hang out and have fun, but it wouldn't be with Trump. But in that deep fake video, they made it look like the two of them were the best of buds. The two of them even had their shoulders hand in hand like that together as friends, as best buds. That was actually a really great example of a deep fake video, but it looked so real that if I didn't know it was a deep fake video, I would think that was an actual video. I was like, wow. But that was on LinkedIn. The guy was just trying to make a point. And so so in conclusion, digital media, digital literacy, media literacy, and AI literacy are essential in today's world. By staying informed, we can navigate the digital age responsibly, and we can in other words, always be skeptical of what you, always be skeptical of what you write, of what you read, and question everything. And don't believe everything that you see just because it's printed. So you've got to corroborate your sources. So if you want to learn more about this topic, you can buy my book on Amazon, and it's called Mastering Media, Digital, and AI Literacy in 8 Weeks. I was so excited to get my own author copy. It makes it real that, whoa, I wrote a book. And it's one of my shorter books. It's a lot shorter than the other book that I showed on my last video, which was how to use AI for creative writing, fun ways to use AI in the classroom. Anyway, so I hope that you had a great time listening about my AI literacy, digital literacy, and media, and all of that in answer to a student question I do believe this was from my Los Angeles Pacific University student who asked, I think that the college should teach is media literacy. And I think they do teach media literacy, but just not in, this particular department. You have to figure out which department that's in. Anyway, so I hope that you enjoyed this video. And if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to the Professor H Writing channel. And and if you're one of my students at Fortis or LAPU, you can email me at any time for more, if you have any more questions about how to find credible sources for your paper. And so that's it for this video. And if you have any questions, you know where to find me.